It's not the conversations that you have that keep you up at night. It's the ones that you avoid. I coached a GSM once who put off having a conversation with a desk manager for half a year. And every time there was a reason, yeah, not at month end, not while the board is down, not while this heat is on. And after 6 months, one of his top salespeople quit, not because of money and not because of leads, but because of never addressing and confronting the dysfunction. Here's the brutal truth. When you don't confront it, you condone it. And every avoided conversation hands a victory to the enemy. Leadership stagnation. I'm Chris Hunsicker, and this is the Dealership War Room. 7 minutes of leadership fire, built daily, fueled intentionally, and delivered relentlessly. And today, we're going to attack one of the key enemies of performance in every arena, and that's leadership stagnation. So let's dive in. Let's do a quick mirror check. You think the problem is your team, but it's not. It's your leadership weight, because you've trained them to hesitate, because your silence is giving them the message, or at least the space to think, that standards are optional. That is leadership in action. So let's take a look at how does that show up in your dealership. How do you know when leadership stagnation is starting to get a hold or take a hold in your dealership? First, drift sets in. What used to be non-negotiable turns into just this once. Next, resentment sets in. Your A players start saying out loud and internally, why am I busting my tail when mediocrity and everybody else just gets a pass? Finally, credibility starts to bleed, because every day you don't address it, your credibility shrinks. One of the great maxims of leadership is the best way to lose your top people is to not hold your bottom people accountable. It is the most frustrating thing to elite performers. And don't miss this. It's not just costing you at work, it's costing you at home. Because that same silence that allows drift in the dealership is exactly the same silence that creates distance at the dinner table. And the conversations that you avoid having on the floor with your people are the same conversations that you avoid having at home with your spouse and your kids. And here's the math. That one conversation that you're dodging, it isn't free. It's costing you gross, energy, and peace. That missed talk with your desk manager, yeah, that's increase in turnover by 10%, which goes directly to your used car gross. That avoided conversation with your service advisor, that's 3 lost ROs a day, 60 lost ROs a month, and that's tens of thousands of dollars worth of gross. That avoided conversation with your spouse, that's not just lost intimacy, that's that creeping feeling of separation that your kids can feel in their bones. In my book, Unstoppable Culture, I do an entire chapter on this concept called the cost of mediocrity. But let me share with you a simple tool that you can use to address what I hope you're starting to see as a real cost to avoiding hard conversations. There isn't a line item in the financial statement that says avoided conversation, $216,000. But let me tell you, it is an absolute and very real cost. So the tool I want to share with you today, simple. This is an easy little mental exercise. It's the delayed cost calculator. All we're going to do is take the cost from the future and bring it into the present so you can make an intelligent decision about what you really want to do. First question I want you to ask yourself is, what is this going to cost me in terms of my own energy and peace if I keep carrying this? Second, what's it going to cost my team if this spreads and it gets contagious? And then third, what is this going to cost my culture, both at work and at home, if silence becomes my default? Please do the math here. Every delay is a tax. Every avoided conversation is a bill that's going to come due in the future with interest. Be smart. Pay it now. Remember the Midas commercials? You can pay me now or you can pay me later. That is what avoided conversations ask you. Do you want to pay me now or do you want to pay me later? Here's this thing. The conversations you're avoiding, they're already shaping your dealership and they're shaping your family too. And if you let leadership stagnation win, you're going to end up burned out with your people disengaged and your family cracking under the weight of your silence. So now let's turn some insight into action and take data and turn it into dollars. So here's your bridge for today. I want you to pick one conversation you've been avoiding, and I want you to have that conversation in the next 24 hours. Not at the end of close, not in the end of the week, not at the end of the month, now in the next 24 hours, and commit to executing that. Let me give you an opening line, a starter. I want you to open or begin the conversation with this line. I owe you honesty because this really matters to me and to us. And then go have your conversation. That will help lower defensiveness, create a little bit of vulnerability and openness, and allow you to move forward with the conversation that you've been putting off or delaying. And here's the reframe. War room leaders, elite operators, don't let silence set the culture. They speak the truth early, directly, and with calm confidence. So ask yourself today, where am I paying the highest silent tax? Is it at work or is it at home? And once you make that decision, then continue to ask yourself, what's one conversation that I need to step into right now? The war is always won in the conversations that you don't want to have. Confront them and reclaim your credibility, your culture, and your home. We're war room leaders. We do not tolerate drift. We do not outsource standards, and we do not let silence win. So today, go out and create some leadership fire, and I will see you tomorrow in the Dealership War Room.